which I would love if it were different, but it isn't. And then you can't be in the places you need to be to make the political points that you want to make. So if we said no to it, it's not at all. It has to do with your organization. It has to do with the fact that we already agreed to a debate. And therefore, we're going to kind of limit ourselves to one. Maybe we'll stretch it as we get along to 2 a month. But if we do anything else, we'll run out of our ability to run this out. Learn about financial literacy. People learning more about our economy. I think economics, is a major topic. And by and large, it should be taught at a much earlier stage. Economics 101 is a college course. Economics 101 should be taught in high school. A lot of high schools are doing it now. But you should teach economics at a much earlier stage. Because some of the misconceptions that politicians create in your mind comes from the fact that sometimes people don't know basic economics, and then the politicians spin them all around. And basic understanding of supply and demand, the interplay between a government economy and a private economy, the different models that we have throughout the world, centralized economies, more diversified economies, which ones work. Read Greenspan's book. No, read it. Some of the criticisms that I don't agree with, some I do agree with, but read it. If I were teaching in Economics 101, I'd have my class read Greenspan's Age of Turbulence. I'm not going to get a royalty from that talk. That would be against the conflict of interest for us. Yes, sir.
Dr. Alan Kozloff.
Hello. Dr. Alan Kozloff, I'm the president of the state chapter of the American Diabetes Association. And first I'd like to see how many people here is healthcare and healthcare for all a very high priority for them. Okay, first of all, I want to compliment you on your statement in your position of principles on your website about healthcare, except for the aspect of healthcare for all. With your plan, if someone is making $30,000, $40,000 a year, they're only paying $3,000 or $4,000 in taxes, and healthcare costs $10,000. What I'm asking you to do is just make one simple thing, add 2 words to your statement of principles on healthcare: for all. Right in the middle, before you talk about the problem about the second line, if you add the words for all and you stick to that and make a commitment to do that, because just tax credits won't do it.
Well, thank you. First of all, healthcare should be accessible for all. The problem with that is should the government guarantee healthcare for all? And if the government guarantees healthcare for all, we will never be able to reduce the cost of healthcare and make it accessible to people. And we will diminish dramatically the quality of healthcare.
But right now, more money is being spent on people going to emergency rooms and getting hospitalized than is being spent if they had health care.
Let me finish the thought, because it's a complex thought. The reality is that is a nice promise to make, but you'll be misleading people. We will be leading them into a deteriorated healthcare system. What we should be doing, how do the people that earn $30,000 or $40,000, how are they able to afford a television? There are a lot of people that earn $30,000 or $40,000 that have a television, right? How do they afford a television? Because the television becomes so cheap. That's why. Because the price of television has come down dramatically. How do people that earn $40,000 or $50,000 afford a cell phone? Because cell phone companies are virtually giving away cell phones now because they've become so cheap. Well, that's what has to happen. You've got to get those forces operating in our healthcare economy, or our healthcare economy is doomed. You have got to get the cost of healthcare down. Now, why does the tax credit work? Or it's not a tax credit. And I would consider tax credits for those people at $30,000 and $40,000, which means we give them a little money to be able to buy it. But I would do that as the market started to shift. The people who can't afford health care right now are not the poorest people. The poorest people have Medicaid. Then above the group that don't have health care are the people that can afford it. Either their employer supplies it or they can buy it. So you've got these people in a gap, right? About 45 to 47 million people estimated. These people are not the poorest. All of these people, or most of all of them, are consumers, meaning they buy things. They're not incapable of buying things. But they don't buy health insurance for two reasons. Because health insurance is too expensive, and because they don't see the gain in buying health insurance. If you drove down the price of health, if you could magically drive down the price of health insurance to a couple of $1,000s a year, or $3,000 a year, and you could create tax incentive and even tax credits to help them bridge the gap, they would be able to buy health insurance. If you showed them that they could actually gain equity if they start at a young age buying health insurance. Maybe the young people who aren't buying health insurance right now, who actually can afford it, but they take the risk because they're young and healthy. We all think we're immortal when we're young, right? They would buy health insurance. We've got to get a complex, big, gigantic market going that will drive the price down. It will give everyone access to health insurance. And then if there are some people left that don't have access, that will be the people we get help with tax credits, which means money. Tax exemptions means exemptions from your tax return. But actual monetary help in buying your own health insurance would be something we could do if we got the gap down and we could bridge it correctly.
So would you add for all to your statement?
I would not add that way because it's an oversimplified statement. I would say my objective is to make healthcare accessible for everyone. Maybe we'll put it that way.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, you only have time for one more question.
Okay, so let's go. I'm going to take one question from the left. Anybody over here that wants to ask a question? This lady right there? Okay.
There's over 38 million people in the world right now living with HIV/AIDS. Do you have a plan to fight this global epidemic?
Yes, I think that fighting HIV/AIDS is one of the most important things we can do. First of all, it's one of the most humanitarian important things we can do. Secondly, I think it's one of the ways in which America can and has, in fact, been able to show a different face. I think this is one of the things that President Bush has been very good about. And I think it's something that, unfortunately, maybe it's the idea of being a second-term president, or maybe it's the media biases, or I don't know what it is, but President Bush doesn't get credit for the good things that he does. He has put more money into this in fighting it in Africa than any president. He wants to put more into it. And I would support that, and I would look for ways not only to be more supportive, but to get other countries to help us. I think as a matter of conscience, it's something we have to do. But as a matter of good politics and good diplomacy, it's a wonderful thing to do. It has America, which sometimes looks too militaristic. It shows what the American soul and the American heart is really all about. Now, I don't believe America is really too militaristic. I think we're painted that way. So this gives us a way to show what America is really all about, what we really desire. What we really desire is a healthy world, a world in which people have freedom, a world in which people have decent rights, human rights, and a world that where we can be peaceful. We just recognize the stage we're at in this world. In order to get there, we have to be militarily strong, and we're going to dissuade people from harming us. But I think funding AIDS, help, assistance, HIV/AIDS, all of these programs, private programs. Anybody here represent the one program? Let me see. I thought I saw that. I got my glasses on. Well, you're doing great work. I met with Bono and your leader, and very familiar with it. You're doing absolutely terrific work. You do terrific work because you get Republicans and Democrats to agree on something. That's great. And we're really not enemies. Republicans and Democrats are really not. I mean, we agree on more things than we disagree on. And the things that we disagree on are honest policy differences. They're not personal. I have, as you know from the beginning, I have very strong views on the economy and on taxes. But I don't get personally angry at somebody who disagrees with me on taxes. You know, I mean, we've been having these disagreements from the beginning of the Republic. You know, Hamilton and Jefferson had these disagreements about strong central government and a more diversified federal system of government. And maybe we're not so bad, at least we're not doing what Burr and Hamilton did. Which is to shoot at each other. So it might be kind of instinctive in how strongly we feel about things. But you are bridging a gap, And I don't think there's any disagreement between Republicans and Democrats on the fact that we should